G'day, Geoff Lewis here from Seriously Serious, and welcome to another camp cooking video. Here today I'm going to show you how you can make a simple, delicious meal, wait for it, with not one single dirty dish that you have to deal with afterwards. So what is it? What could it be? Well, as always, you know exactly what to do. Click on that subscribe button down below, click on that notification button too, but most importantly, stay tuned. Right, so what are we actually cooking up tonight? Well, it's a simple meal, but a tasty one at that. And what we're going to be doing is steak and 3 veg. Now, I've got a couple of potatoes here, bit of steak, bit of corn, and I've even got you guessed it, a cheeky tin of peas. And as I said in the intro, I'm not lying here either. No dirty dishes tonight. You can sit easy at home. You don't need to clean up a thing. Now, I've got a pretty half decent fire here, and as you can see, we've got some nice coals over there. We've got quite a bit of ash here. Now, many of us get a little bit, I guess, overexcited about flames and coals, but really where the business is in regards to a fire is the ash. That's where all the baking's done. That's where you can do your veggies, that's where you can do even things like damper and many, many other things. But coals are a little bit too hot and a little bit too intense. So even if you prefer to wrap your spuds up in alfoil, never ever put them directly near the coals because they'll end up charring and burning. So anyway, what we're going to do is I've got my implement here, my stick, and I'm just going to dig out a little area like so. It's pretty good. It's a bit hot. Might get my shovel. Now, sometimes you'll find, like here today, the ash or coals in there are a little bit too hot. What you can actually do is get a bit of sand and just put it over the top, creating a bit of a layer. Get the rocks out of it. Now by doing that, it acts as like a bit of a barrier and allows there to be a bit more even heat over it. So I'm going to get my corn as so, chuck it in there. My spuds, as so. Where are they going? Right in there too. So that's basically, oh, that got a bit hot. Yeah, chuck that back in there again. That's basically it. Now I'm going to get a bit of sand and put that over the top. Like so. And then we'll get our ash here with a bit of coals. Not very good ashy wood this, not quite like mulga. It's all sort of river gum this. Get a bit more ash there. And that's it. So that's our veggies pretty much sorted. Now, the cheeky peas will go on a little bit later on, and basically I'm just going to crack the top of the tin. I'll pop them in the ash of the fire somewhere around here and just let them warm up in the tin as is, and then we're done. Now, those spuds were a reasonable size, and with the corn in there too, you want to allow about 20 minutes, half hour. Now, the next thing we need to look at is the humble steak. So we'll just get our knife so we can get into it. And we're going pretty fancy tonight. Going for a bit of scotch. Now, these coals are a bit too warm, too hot, I should say. Get rid of that. So what you can actually do, just like I showed you over there, is you can actually just mix it with a bit of ash and then cool it down. So that's pretty good there. Another thing you can do, depending on what kind of rocks you've got around, obviously me being a bit of a geologist, I tend to notice these things, is if they're bluestone or basalt, you can actually heat that up, razor hot, really hot, and if you do that, you can actually just chuck your steak straight on it. It's just like a barbie plate, and then when you're done, you just chuck it back in the bush, leave it for the next fella. Right, so we've got that there, got our hand, our temperature sensor, and I generally hold it about 10 centimetres off. And if you can feel it tingling after about 3 seconds, then it's usually the right temperature, I find. And then we just get the steak like so, and you chuck it on. And that's it. I'll bring you in a bit closer. You want to leave the steak there basically until you can see the juices, is a nice way of putting it, coming to the surface. Once you can see that, then you want to flip it over. Now, many of you are probably thinking, what about the coals? Won't they stick to the steak? Well, they do initially, but as the steak cooks, shrinks and contracts, the coals will actually fall out. If there are a few that are still stuck when you're ready to serve the steak, you can simply just flick them off with a knife. Now, I'll move over this way a little bit and we can go back to the veggies. Now, the veggies, you might be thinking, gee, they might be a bit gritty with the sand, but because you've got skin or husk on the corn, you've got skin on the potato, you can actually just dust it right off, and there's actually no problem with them at all. But anyway, we'll leave this all for half an hour or so. I might go get a beverage, and then I'll bring you back for the end result. So it's the moment of truth. Oh, we'll get a better stick, eh? That's the problem over here in Western Australia. There's these funny things called termites. You don't get those in Tassie. Anyway, we'll dig these out. There we are, there's our corn. And we'll just poke the spud with our knife. It's still a little bit hard. That one's okay. That one's all right. Move that one up there. Cover that. A bit longer. And now, the patience resistance. The steak. There we are. Now, as I said, the coals do stick to it, as you can see, but you just flick them off with your knife, like so. You can actually pick them off with your fingers, they're not actually that hot. Anyway, I'll just I'll pop that on a rock there. And as you can see, I'm using a paper plate on a plate, so when I cut through the steak, it won't go into my leg. So there we go, we've got that there. I'm just going to do a little bit of meal prep, and then I'll show you the, I guess, the restaurant grade presentation. Oh. Look at that. Now, I know many of you are probably thinking the steak might be a little bit dirty, but ash from the fire, as I've demonstrated in a previous video in our Golden Quest series, is what we all used to use back in the day instead of toothpaste. So this in itself will actually help to clean your teeth so you can have a nice pearly white smile while being out here in the bush. But anyway, it's not that bad. Anyway, I better tuck in while it's still warm, but thank you very, very much for stopping by here today, and hopefully you've enjoyed this video. And if you are enjoying the content here at Seriously Series, then please do consider supporting us via Patreon by clicking on the Patreon icon at the top right-hand corner of your screen. And if you're new to the channel, then please do click on that subscribe button down below. Click on that notification button too, and if you've enjoyed this video and thought it wasn't half bad, then please do give us a thumbs up. It makes all the difference. Anyway, I hope to see you in our next video. See you then. Perfect.